G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is a quad railway rifle with VATS criticals doing 50% more damage and a little bit of damage resistance whilst aiming, like we'll ever be using that tertiary legendary effect. So these weapons are quite interesting right now because they do a ton of damage, and if you see them in an Earl fight or a Queen fight, you can expect to have that fight be over very, very quickly. I think these were the go-to speed kill weapons before the Enclave Plasma Flamers showed up. But the difference between these is these are a lot easier to get, these are a lot easier to feed, only need steel to make the railway gun spikes, and these have a little bit of range about them rather than being in pissing distance. So, you know, those are three marks in this thing's favor already. Obviously, in flat-out DPS, this thing will probably lose, but, you know, it's got capacity problems. If it had the same ammo capacity as you would have in a Plasma Flamer, maybe you could see a little bit more of a competitive time out of it, but I'm not here to speak about boss killing. I'm not really into that no more. Let's go ahead and chuck on some perks. So it's going to be an automatic setup for this. You'll see the auto piston receiver on it, which gives it a rate of fire of 75, which is got plenty of recoil, and you'll see a lot of screen shake when this thing is firing in VATS because, like, the camera still shakes around like you are not using VATS, but the recoil will be mitigated. And if we aren't having any recoil, well, the weapon climbs. It climbs like you wouldn't believe. In 10 rounds, we're already pointing basically 90 degrees up. You can counter this recoil, but it's difficult unless you're really good at what you were doing. That won't really be happening. So we're doing 157 damage with this thing now. Another good thing is I believe that the criticals that you get from weapons completely bypass the damage reduction of the bosses. I've seen up to 400 damage with my bloodied lucky Western revolver in a Scorched Earth fight. It doesn't happen very often, but when you do, that's a decent chunk of its health gone in one bullet. So obviously with this thing, you're going to be firing a lot of bullets or a lot more spikes very rapidly, doing less damage per shot, but those criticals will be obviously stacking on faster. It's got a very high sustained DPS. Quad is a thing that I like on the railway rifle. There's a couple of guns that I think it's dumb on, like miniguns, Gatling lasers. I don't even think it works on Gatling lasers. Gatling guns, the cranky ones, you crank the thing. 50 cal machine guns, don't get quad on them. That's a waste. Borderline on the LMGs. 75 is generally enough to deal with things just with standard mobbing. If you wanted to mag dump 300 308s into Earl, then be my guest. I'd rather be slightly more efficient on ammo. But railway guns and other things like gamma guns are really good with quad. You know, harpoon guns comes into that category as well. So you gotta pick and choose. Just because it's new and shiny on heavy guns, most heavy guns, doesn't mean it's actually worth using. But an exception I can find here is with a railway rifle. Very good weapon to roll it because it takes your ammo capacity from 10 to 40, as you can see right there. Okay, so here we are outside of the portable hard drive factory, looking to pick one up so I can shift some games onto that and save some SSD space in my laptop. We've got what I don't even know what it's called, the Starlet Sniper outfit on. I like it because the hairstyle I'm using, which is called Elegant if you want it for yourself, it clips right through it. Clips right through it. Paid money for this outfit. And it breaks my immersion. Actually, most outfits already do that, so that's fine. Anyways, so we're stealthing at the moment. Normally I'd start inside, but I did want to show off a little bit of the range capabilities. And despite us having a decent perception as it is right now, we can get better. Let me just check my perception stat. There it is. It's 22 right now, thanks to the maximum amount of perception, and then a couple of other things like my harness, just a radar armor. I think it's actually radar leathers, but we'll get inside in a moment. But just to show you the range capabilities of this, because this is kind of what sets it apart from the Plasma Flamer. I really like having a little bit of versatility in the weapons, and if you can snipe at stuff from this far away with a modest amount of perception, well, it's actually a pretty good amount, but, you know, we're wearing unyielding armor, and it could be a lot higher at the moment. Don't worry, we'll be getting to Nerd Rage at some point during the video. Probably won't be with regular mobs because we simply don't need it. Now, a thing you might want to consider having for a railway gun like this is you're going to chew through ammo very, very quickly. And the problem is with the spikes is that they're heavy, right? So you'll probably have to be crafting them. Like, that's 31 pounds. That is 2 ranks of the ballistic ammo weight thing, bandolier, making them 90% lighter. So that's a lot. And if you've got a low strength character like me, kind of need to be crafting these constantly. I'm only able to got like 5 at once using Ammo Smith on a workbench. So if you want to use perks like Ammo Factory to get this thing and feed it, then that's good. But, you know, that's a lot of potential points that you'd probably want to have elsewhere. Like in these ones saying Lyak. Gives me that. Also, I bumped up my perception twice. I shifted some points around. So now I'm a little bit tankier than normal at 320 health, which is a lot more than usual. I'm going to stop dawdling now. Let's get inside. Alright, so now we're on the inside. Using this in close quarters should be fun. It's kind of a better thing for you to use this thing in close quarters because you'll find that firing railway spikes, the projectiles aren't hit scan. They're a lot slower than hit scan. They're quick enough that in this range you won't really notice, but as you get further out, you will notice. You can make the thing slightly more ammo efficient if you decide to pick up the rounds from your defeated corpses. They got a chance of adding the spikes into their inventory when you do it. So you could potentially use that to extend the life of your railway rifle's ammo, I suppose. Just use those spikes again. The spikes covered in super mutant blood and guts. That's pretty good. Going for the head now because I can. It's actually great for damage. A couple of spikes and they're done. If we were getting a crit every other shot, I'm sure most of this stuff would be a 2-shot kill, like that one. Even these super mutant champions are going down to 2 spikes, which is very ammo efficient. I'm liking this very much at the moment. I think I missed that guy. So we're hitting for over 1,000 damage with the crits. That's excellent. Very good news. And you can get railway spikes through the floor grates. That's good. And I think there's a little bit of limb damage going on with these. If I hover over someone's head and not crit them, note how his head is immediately crippled after sending a railway spike in it. Wouldn't think it's directly through it. Actually, I remember reading about a man who survived getting like a railway spike through his head. It went through his frontal lobe, right? He's just working on the railroad and something gunpowder, the thing exploded and went through his skull, but it didn't kill him. It took out his frontal lobe, and after that moment, his personality directly changed. And what the psychologist figured out from that thing was, well, your frontal lobe must control some sort of personality. I like this, actually. The sight is way too high on the on this thing, so the barrel doesn't actually clear that terminal there. So I just chucked a bunch of spikes into that terminal for no reason. That's a poorly disciplined shooting there, and I should be deeply ashamed of myself. They wouldn't let that fly in the Marines, I'll tell you that much. What do they call that? Is it barrel discipline? It's something. I remember reading about it once when I used to read about guns on the internet. Now I can't read. Okay, gonna go with the aggressive approach with this one, but I might just go for the torso. Fuck you, Radroach. Never mind, we'll go for the heads, and we'll try to see how we go. I feel like they should change the ghoul behavior here to make them, like, get up as soon as there's trouble, because I've been catching these ghouls sleeping for the last couple of parts, and, you know, it's getting, like, why are they doing this? Are these ghouls tired from being shot over and over? They should be getting a decent rest now. Whenever I show up against these guys in a public server, there's no one around. Everyone's farming West Tech instead. What do you think you're doing, mate? I'm gonna just use a third-person camera here. And I'm gonna go for 2 bursts. A burst of 2. One if it's a crit. I'm not actually watching if I've got a crit. We'll just play it safe and put 2 spikes into everything that moves. Plenty of rounds to go, shouldn't have to reload. I'm gonna reload here because I'm halfway through. Interestingly, like the hopper mag, it has the same reload animation all the time. If you counted exactly how many spikes you put in it definitely wouldn't be 40. It'd be cool if you had to load in a bunch, kind of like you would endlessly reload a laser musket, or your dog. Oh no, I'm under nerd rage. Are we done? Not quite. Just gonna stim pack so I stop hobbling around. There we go, heal that off. Kind of wanted to go in nerd rage, but like I said, the time will come for that. So, a lot of ways that probably could have gone a lot better, but we survived, and let's use a stim pack. I feel like it'd be a lot more fun and interesting if they all just got up and started running at you. I miss the old days where the ghouls were a little bit more crazy. Okay, so I've skipped spawn for now just to see how this thing goes, because honestly, this thing's been kind of just destroying everything, and I kind of want to let it rip against something that I find tougher. I'll definitely go for the full auto approach on the king there, and there's the My Alert Queen. We'll go for the wrong set of legs. Ooh, reloaded a little bit early then. One more to the face should do you in. Indeed it does. And now it's up to me to find the other king. There's usually another one. Maybe he's around the crackheads or is picking a fight with them. They're all gone. There you are, mate. I feel like I took around the same bullets as I did with the My Alert Queen. I think that's it. Alright, I'm going to go back to Swan now. I'm going to see how good I can sneak this. We'll see how we go. We don't have Covert Operative up at full rank, do we? I don't know. It's not. That doesn't seem like we're getting the notifications. And good luck hitting this moving target. We'll go anyway. We've got a field of view change that's kind of massive with reflex sight, so it kind of makes this more of a precision scope. And there's the travel distance, and that's kind of why you want to be using this in VATS if you can, which it's proven to be a fairly effective user of VATS. I swear the hitboxes on that... There's a crazy laser gun guy. Let's target someone else. There we go. Yes, I swear the hitboxes on this thing are busted. We can test that right now. Kind of. I don't know. Like, they take cover there, I aim right at them, and I miss every single time. Anyways, we'll keep this sniping thing up. We'll check the adrenaline damage, because I haven't done that yet, I don't think. Come on, go faster. Wish I could use the scroll bar to scroll right through this. 232, that's some good damage. Yes, obviously, having a weapon that has high damage will make the additive damage do a lot more. Kind of how multipliers used to work. Anyways, we'll sneak in here, hopefully before adrenaline wears off. Bit too late for screaming, mate. Alright, let's go with the Scorched, and we'll see what we can do. Now, I believe the game regards these as missiles, or rather, not missiles. They're, instead of, they don't mean they're projectiles. Maybe arrows is the better term. I think they're arrows, because they don't explode, right? Like Skyrim arrows. And they kind of have like a seeking thing in VATS, but since they don't fly in a lob trajectory, they don't bug out as much, so you can't just fire and forget Scorch Beast. They gotta get there sooner or later, right? They're flying at them at pretty fast velocities, probably subsonic. Anyways, you're gonna land, so I'll reload this unnecessarily, perhaps, and then shoot ya. We'll get a bit of gun feel action here. We got staggered out of killing that Scorch Beast there, unfortunately, but we can get a little bit of gun feel action here. We'll do it again. That's totally forgot the Scorch Beast was there. You saw it cycling through targets. As soon as I took out that second Scorch, yeah, no way, bro. Nothing else worth seeing here. And maybe it was right, because there weren't much going. Alright. I think crits are measured when the projectile hits, so you might have to wait until the projectile hits to get the crits, which could be problematic. Yep. So, with, like, hit scan weapons, your crits will come more rapidly. You kind of got to wait for the bullet travel time. splack travel time, as it were, for actually seeing the benefit of the crit spamming. So you gotta basically do long bursts against things, and we kind of smashed everything there super easily. And I've been wanting to go into Nerd Rage, but as you can tell, I really kind of haven't yet, except for that part against the ghouls where I did a stim pack. But that's because I didn't want any cheap deaths to happen. So, as a little bit of a treat and a little tiny surprise, I'm going to solo a colossal problem with this thing. This is taken from a live stream where I drank many a Bundy, many mistakes were made, but I managed to do it fairly quickly. Thank you for watching, guys. Yeah, this thing kicks ass. Get one. Just make sure you want to craft bullets. Honestly, I don't think it's too worth it. It annoys me that this thing's faster than the fixer against it, that's for sure. But, you know, it's a good weapon. I can tell it like it is, even though I'd personally prefer the fixer over it, maybe. These splacks just irk me, you know? If it was an explosive railway, I'd be missing out on the crit damage, but it'll change the projectiles to explosive bullets, which means it'll work a lot easier with crit spamming, but for all intents and purposes, I probably would prefer the lucky one over the explosive one, as you'll see in a second. Alright, here we go, chat. I'm gonna try solo Earl with a few buffs, not too many, a bunch of things. We got grounded. Alright then. We got a couple of mutations we don't need. We got scaly skin. Don't want that. Oh well. We haven't got as much AP as usual. Don't think it'll be a problem, actually. We'll start off this fight with a little bit of adrenaline. Kind of mistimed that. It's fine. It'll go normal. If you are wondering, we are playing on the PTS, but we ain't got none of these little damage mods going on. This is all real 100% goodness. Just follow through doing most of that, I reckon. Rude! I'll cut this out, don't worry. Alright, back in. And adrenaline. Ho, adrenaline away. Don't worry, we'll edit that out too. Back in for real this time, for real. This is the first time. First time. This is Wendigo spawn, we're gonna kill him. We don't have luck where it needs to be. Or do we? No, not quite. A little bit more. That's alright. Being cucked by a bat. Oh, there he is. Hello, mate. We can't steer. We got stuck on something. You like that, you old bastard? Anything? I don't think he likes it. Love to see it. You just stay over there, Earl, you cranky old bastard. I'm annoyed this is faster than a fixer. My projectiles are quicker than yours, mate. See ya. Well, that went well, kinda. 4 minutes solo for a fucking half-assed fucking shit kill like that. What do you reckon? Pretty shit, eh?